Yep. Talking about multiverses. Apparently, it's getting shut down. I think it's in one more month or maybe a few more months, but multiverse is getting shut down. I'm not surprised at all. Uh, I, I made a video about multiverses, a review on multiverses, and I said that multiverses was a bad game. Um, 8 months ago, I made a video saying that multiverses was back, but it was worse than the beta, and that's true. And that's probably the biggest reason. I think 50% of why multiverses failed is because of the price of things. Obviously, nobody's spending money, so they have to take it offline. But also, I think the biggest problem with multiverses is that it just wasn't the beta. And not saying that it needed to be the beta, because it could have been better. But the whole stigma around multiverses is that it just wasn't better than the beta. We knew there was a better version of multiverses out there somewhere. And the fact that we didn't have it was like kind of disappointing. It's like being told, it's like going to a restaurant and you know they have 5-star meals, but they're only serving you two stars. It was just disappointing. I mean, everyone there was. I don't know why they changed the beta because everyone liked the beta. The beta was received very well. The only problem with the beta was like busted characters. No one complained about character progression. No one complained about the battle pass. But like the battle pass in this game isn't even. They're not really cosmetics. They're like weird gems, weird story things. Where a battle pass is purely supposed to be cosmetics and enhancements to your character in terms of looks. This game has things like you wouldn't really use in the main online PvP. Uh, but yeah, I've said this. I made plenty of videos on multiverses saying how not plenty. I made one video, but it was a very deep review. Basically, you got to spend like $20 to get one skin, and then you have to spend money again to get another skin because they'll leave you less than $10. I forgot it was some weird price thing, but basically, like they were ripping you off. They were making you spend a lot of money. Um, multiverses. I don't think multiverses is not a bad game. It's not bad at any means. Um, but there's a reason why Smash Brothers can to this day Smash Brothers can cost $50 and no one complains. And multiverses can be free to play. And the biggest thing is like people have this stigma when it comes to free to play games, or not stigma. People have this idea. I've heard it. It's a lot in multiverses. Reddit. A lot of people say this for free to play games with Apex. People have this idea that because it's free, you can't complain about prices or not getting free cosmetics. That is always a bad thing. It's always a bad thing. I've always said this: if you play a game for 40 hours, free or priced, regardless, you should be rewarded with something. Um, Multiverses didn't reward you for playing the game. The game was free to play, but that's all you got. Unless you were spending money on a battle pass that didn't, um, what's it called? That didn't even give you the skins for the characters you wanted. So you had to go to the store. The store obviously had the better skins. And when you take a look at something like multiverses, 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 just multiverses. What am I trying to say? Multiverses said that every character on drop will be free from beginning of the game to end of game. So if 2 years from now you wanted to play Marvel Rivals, every character that's released you'll be able to play regardless of the um the time. Multiverses is not like that. If you hopped into multiverses right now, you couldn't play no new character. You couldn't. You would have to grind, and the grind is long. Like it's not cheap. It's not a cheap grind. It's very time consuming, which is probably I would say a huge reason. I didn't play a lot because every time a new character dropped, you either had to grind, and then by the time you wanted to play the new character, you were already bored of the game, or you would have to spend money. This is the only game that does that. I mean, Apex, yes, Apex does make you pay for the characters. Apex does make you grind for the characters. Yes. But the thing is, Apex has a shorter grind time. Also, Apex characters are shit a lot cheaper. Like they have like bundles. I remember I bought Apex first came out, and I bought all the characters for $20. This was like 2 years later after Apex release. After that, I didn't have to buy a character ever again because I've already had the price. I've already had the tokens for characters. Um, but yeah, multiverses. I don't think people should look at multiverses and be like it's a free to play problem. It's not. It's not a live service problem. Multiverses is purely its own downfall. Um, multiverses caused its own shutdown. It was not the players. The players, people wanted multiverses too good. People wanted to play multiverses. The problem is multiverses didn't want you to stay. All they wanted you to do was spend money. They never really added new game mechanics. Like they could have added grabs, they could have added items, they could have added map damage. There were certain things multiverses could have done for the people who were dedicated to playing the game. But the game multiverses on release is the same game it is now. And no fighting game does that. Like balance changes, I guess, but no fighting game should be the same on release a year later. Uh, and it's kind of sad to see. Like it's its own downfall. But yeah, I've always said this, and just to wrap it up, I think the main reason multiverses failed is because people knew there was a better version of multiverses out there, which was the beta, and we didn't have it. Um, that's the main thing around multiverses. If you look at the multiverses Reddit and you look at the multiverses comments on YouTube videos, the main thing people wanted want is the beta back. There's even mods that make the beta. People even miss the UI. I don't know why they changed it. It was a purely terrible decision, but yeah. And in another universe, someone is playing the beta on release of multiverses and they're having a good time. But yeah, that's gonna wrap it up. I mean, I called this 8 months ago. 8 months ago, I made a video saying multiverses will flop. I wasn't even a hater of multiverses. I just knew like this was a bad idea, and yeah, I called it. But peace. I seen the video and goodbye.